trends today. Awards and job offers for Comfort Emerson raises eyebrows about the motives behind it. WTO Director-General Okonjo-Iweala commends Tinubu's economic reforms. Peter Obi blasts Tinubu over frequent foreign trips amidst crisis. And in sports, Super Falcons captain confirms unpaid WAFCON promises. Hello and welcome to today's edition of Trends on LJE, where we analyze leadership, economic and justice issues in Nigeria, Africa, and the globe in order to provide lasting solutions. I'm your host, Mohamed Sule. Don't forget, you can be a part of the conversation by dropping your comments on our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at LJE Nigeria. And joining me to analyze the issues today is the president of Leadership Hub Justice and Economic Advancement, whom we shall be meeting after the break. To stay.
Hi guys! So I came across a studio here in Abuja where you can just walk in and shoot any video of your choice. Podcast sessions, talk shows, and even live programs. They have beautiful colored lights. You can choose the one you want. They have teleprompter in case you want to read from a script. You can bring in your guests or someone you would love to talk to. You can do football gist, celebrity gossip, cooking show, music countdown, political gist, real estate palaver. Just that dream show you would love to do. Guess what? When I came in, they even made smile touch-ups on my face. Within 1 hour of my shoots, my video was ready. They have different bonanza packages starting from as low as 10,000 and above. You can get your video instantly or in less than 24 hours. Please check their contacts and address on the screen.
Welcome back from that short break. This is still Trends on LJE. And joining me today is the president of LJE Nigeria, Barrister Meme Samuel. Thank you and welcome to today's episode.
Thank you very much, Mohammed.
Right.
Nice to be here.
Okay.
Thank you very much, viewers.
Right. The awards and job offers received by Comfort Emerson has raised eyebrows amongst netizens about the motive. The story of Miss Comfort, the passenger involved in a controversial incident with the Ibom Air cabin crew members, has taken a new turn, with her being the recipient of numerous ambassadorial awards, job offers, and luxury trips. This comes just a day after the criminal complaint against her was withdrawn and her lifetime flight ban was lifted. Aides to state governors, international rights activists, and various organizations have fallen over themselves to offer her jobs and prizes, including a 500,000 naira job and a luxury trip from an aide in Delta by the Delta State governor. This deluge of offers has raised eyebrows amongst many Nigerians, with netizens speculating about the motives of the awarders. In a country gripping with high unemployment, some critics are questioning whether these gestures are a genuine act of goodwill of the individuals and organizations or simply leveraging the sensationalism of the incident for their own benefit. What do you think of this issue, Barrister? I mean, people are giving her awards, jobs. Could this be out of goodwill, or do you think there's something behind it?
Well, I think it's out of goodwill because one of these offer is one offered by the aide to the governor
Right.
of the state, which is my state. But the guy did not make such offer with the state government letterhead. I don't know why they keep attaching the name of the governor. He made such offer alone, solely, and not basically from the government. So I think it's a good thing for her. At least this offer, this good gesture will automatically erase the shame and embarrassment that would have been associated with what she passed through.
Mm.
It's good because now she's coming out into the public with a new life. For me, it's quite commendable. And I must commend those who are given. It is left for her to accept whether she wants to travel to Dubai or travel to the US or travel. But I think some of those offers is actually just to shame the airline to let them know that look, no matter what you try, how much you try to shame people, we also have others who throw their weight and support to such a person. Kudos to the lady. At least now she's now a celebrity.
Yeah, well, for me, I stand with the opinion of many netizens because this is coming at a point where we saw the nature of the video,
Yes.
and a lot of us online are concerned. We're saying that there are a lot of great people in the country, even Delta State.
Yeah.
Why is it this particular lady that this award is given to? Could it be because of what they saw on the video? Because trust me, if you look
I
at the if you look
I don't want to believe.
all right, if you
Uh,
look at the nature of the post, it could be on screen right now. You could look at the last paragraph there by the governor's aide, where he was saying there's going to be uh, luxury and other things. I'll be there to welcome you. It raises a lot of eyebrows. Well, whatever that may be, my own advice to comfort is currently the Nigerian media space is one that is backed by serious negativity.
yeah.
Permit me to use the word. You become more popular when negative things happen. So she should use this current media attention. The whole of this week, if you look at the Twitter top searches, she's among the top trending options. And I've seen different ambassadorial awards coming in, even from fashion brands. I think I've seen a man, MC Mitty, online saying he's giving her a ticket for his show. So this is a time for her to get a manager and use this opportunity to leverage her media attention, sign in with brands and manage her reputation because already her nude is on the internet and people are attracted to these nudes. But then how can she filter out those with good intentions so that she could use this, to boost her career? Currently, her Instagram is reading 41,000 followers already, and she's yet to make a statement. Everyone is waiting to hear what her statement will look like because if she finally comes out to talk, people would hear from her own side of the story. And trust me, that could even engineer
Yeah.
more awards, particularly from women related things, girl child, and all that. The media is waiting for her response. But be that as it may, it's still scary for her to really accept some of these awards from these people because there's always a question mark. I mean, there's a man in Dubai who said, I'm going to give you all the luxury treatment. You have to come to my place and all that. So,
I think some of those statements or such comments, they are just exaggerated or comic comments. But
okay.
I think one thing you can take home from all of this thing is that Nigerians are good in passing good judgments.
Right.
And in the midst of all of these things, have you heard any person making offer to the lady who blocked her from coming down from the flight?
No.
So that is to show that Nigerians are good in passing good judgments.
Right.
They have been able to see the truth
Mm.
that look, this is a clear oppression. How can you, because you're an air hostess, you just block the airline from allowing a passenger to come down? You're not a police officer, you're not a security agency, you just violate or try to intimidate someone because you work as a staff in the airline. Well, this is quite unfortunate, but kudos to the lady. And I know she's definitely going to take good advantage in all of these things happening to her. For me, there is basically no embarrassment as far as I'm concerned. Unfortunately, what happened. Some people who've condemned her for the kind of clothes she wear. This is because of the environment we live in. The clothes we wear and how we dress is irrelevant. What is relevant is that we have comfortable living environment as citizens of this country. In abroad, people wear their singlet and they just walk through beautiful environment, get into bus and everything. That is not the challenge. The challenge is providing social amenity. So I must commend her. And when she's out, we welcome her to LJE too.
All right.
Give her opportunities to talk to Nigerians.
All right. All right. Yes, of course. You can report a violation if you face one on LJE. And of course, we are giving her the offer to actually report a violation, report that violation here at the LJE. In our next story, the World Trade Organization Director-General Okonjo-Iweala commends Tinubu's economic reforms. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has credited Bola Tinubu with stabilizing Nigerian economy through bold and courageous reforms. Speaking to reporters after a meeting with the president, Okonjo-Iweala said that while the initial reforms may have been met with skepticism, they were in the right direction. She emphasized that what is needed next is to focus on growth and implementing social safety net to cushion the effects of the reforms on the populace. Her comment has been met with mixed reaction, with some observers hailing them as an international endorsement of the administration's economic agenda, while others argue that the impact of the reforms on ordinary Nigerians should not be overlooked. In fact, this issue has stemmed a lot of comments because people are thinking, what are the metrics for this particular judgment? What are the facts and figures that, Okonjo-Iweala is, generalizing from? And what can the well-meaning Nigerians on the street benefit from these reforms? What do you take on this, President?
Well, when I saw it in the news, but the first thing that struck my mind was the motive behind the upload. Well, um, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is a Nigerian.
Of course.
She has a right to pass a judgment and to say that the economy is stabilizing. Well, I don't know the metrics, and we believe she's a very refined economist and someone who has contributed a quota for the economic development of Nigeria. Maybe she makes such comments to also, please certain things, but I don't know. I can't really decide or conclude the basis behind her comment. But that is her judgment. That is what she wishes to say. But in my opinion, I believe that except there are things that the president or the government is doing that is yet to manifest. But as someone who is practical, what I can see, I am not seeing anything that can. I'm very optimistic. I'm not trying to say that the government is not doing enough, but I know for sure that you can't give what you don't have. But for what I can see right now, and based on the way the country is going, and the level of commitment by those operating the economy of Nigeria, I'm not really seeing such manifestation. But I probably, like I said, maybe there are things that they are trying to do or some manifestation we're yet to see. Because how do you measure some of these things? I'm a business person, and
Right.
the cost of imports of goods or duty for goods in Nigeria. For instance, for automobile, I'm into automobile, and when you import vehicles into Nigeria, for cars such as Toyota Corolla 2005 to 2010 up to 2012 model, for instance, you pay as much as 3.5 to 4 million naira just to clear the vehicle, right?
Mm.
Now, this wasn't the amount it was when this current administration came in. And that is why you see now that many people cannot even afford to purchase vehicle. As a matter of fact, since this president came on board, the numbers of importers had drastically reduced. More than 80% of importers are off the game. So you now discover that people pay more to the government. When they pay more to the government, they push it back to the citizen, they push it back to the market. So automatically the cost of the items will automatically increase. So why the government is pretending to increase the minimum wage, they are also overbearing the consequences of tax burden on the citizens. So it's more like you are giving little and you are taking so much back from the people. So you are thereby reducing the purchasing power. There are many services rendered by the government had increased. Even look at the cost of registration of company
Exactly.
and businesses in Nigeria had all increased. The tax has increased down to the local government. Lockup shops had increased. State government, the money revenues and everything they take had increased. Now, the significant impact of all of these things is that when the government is taking much from the people, they tend to increase their own cost of services. What you see is automatic inflation. I'm not an economist, but by practical implication of how these things work, you can tell. You cannot have a government that is increasing what they take and expecting the naira to improve. It is not possible. So I just give you some of this practical uh, experience, because when people say they are working on something, you're working on something, and at the same time, you are taking over what belongs to people. Even look at what they are paying for ground rent in Abuja, for
Right.
instance. Go and find out what they take, what the government is taking as ground rent. So, how do you expect landlords, to pay such huge amount of money, and you expect them to reduce the cost of rent? It is not possible. So, the more you are trying to impoverish the people by compelling them to pay more, they will in return add it back to the system, and everybody will be running net scatter. So, how do you stabilize an economy when you, as a government, you keep increasing? Even our secondary schools, universities, and many of them, all the services rendered by the government, and this is not just for the federal government. This also goes down to federal, states, and local government administrations. So, how do you say that the economy is stabilizing when majority of the people are suffering? It logically doesn't make any sense to me. Whether such a statement is a politically calculated statement or just a statement to, I don't know. But I respect our right. I respect our right as a citizens, just the same way I expect my right to be. I expect my right to be respected as well. So, is our opinion, but is someone, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is someone that I respect a lot, and I believe whatever be our judgment, then it's up to her.
Well, thank you. You said it all. If there's anything I want to add, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is a qualified person. I wouldn't say she's not qualified. Looking at her career trajectory, she's risen up to the level of WTO Director-General. But then it raises eyebrows about many of these international organizations or even international observers of even elections down to other levels of world management. How do you come up with a statement that Tinubu's economic reform is actually doing well? If this is a statement made verbally, I can say it could be politically motivated. Is there any document? Because if there's a press release from the WTO, it will be written down. And I'm betting such a written document would contain some of the statistics and the metrics, because the metrics of the current administration is not tallying to what we can point to as economic development positive. Okay, if you look at the same time Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was making these statements, the dollar actually, the naira actually depreciated last night to this morning. The same time she's making this statement. So how do you calculate economic development? When you look at the price of fuel and the dollar and the minimum wage, they're not tallying. If the average Nigerian is spending 1,000 on transport to 1,000 on transport, well, that's 2,000. In a month, they're spending over 48,000. You're left with barely less than 20 something thousand, which is not even enough for feeding. And if you have a family and all that. So, how do you calculate these things? For me, I do expect a written document to back up this particular claim, containing the statistics that prove that the economic reforms of this current administration is working from the WTO, because we can't accept verbally made statements. Well, in our next story, Peter Obi blasts Tinubu's administration and Tinubu himself over frequent travels out of the country amidst crisis. The former presidential candidate publicly criticized the president, speaking at a public event, stating that the Nigerian president is not a tourist, suggesting that the president's constant travels abroad are a distraction from the numerous domestic crises facing the country. This statement comes amidst reports of a new national skill program, a new directive to review revenue deductions by key agencies, and a new US approved $346 million sale of bombs and rockets to Nigeria. The presidency is yet to issue an official response to that statement, but Obi's comments have ignited the debate on social media about the importance of domestic engagement versus international diplomacy. I think the traveling is getting too much, President. What do you see about this?
I don't even think that traveling is the major problem, because I think Buhari traveled more than Tinubu, and his administration was quite better.
Okay.
I'm one of the most critic of Buhari, you know. But even when he's around, the question is not really about you should sit down in the office. It's about the decisions you are taking while you are in the office. So I don't think his numerous trip abroad is the major factor. After all, he's not the one in the field, but he has people who are working with him. But the major thing is how he's able to navigate through the numerous challenges we are facing. Uh, for me, he has a right to travel,
All right.
but he has a duty to provide good governance for Nigeria. He should sit down in the country and face the challenges, because that is why we elected him as the president of Nigeria.
Right. A lot needs to be done, in my opinion, because there's been really many presidents in this country that has taken their time to go through the states, the creeks, to actually see for themselves how the governors are doing in their states. Infrastructure development monitoring. Sometimes you have cases of abandoned projects, and if a president goes around to actually see that what he's doing or what he's bringing to the table is actually driven home by other sectors of the government, I think it would do us better. And for Obi himself, I do understand his concern for the country, and it's quite applaudable. But then again, constantly criticizing the current government is way to go, because that's the value of democracy and opposition. It actually gives you the room to make some statements about the government. Right. In our last story, and this is quite troubling coming from sports, the Women's African Cup of Nations success have driven a lot of positive awards from the president of Nigeria and the governors. But then the Super Falcons captain confirms that the WAFCON are yet to receive their $100,000 promise alongside the other incentives. In a troubling development from the world of sports, the captain revealed that Tinubu's administration is yet to fulfill their promise. She mentioned this, stating that the players have not received a dime of the promised funds and other benefits. This comes amid celebration of the Falcons and the Tigers' recent victory in the Afro Basket Opener and renewed calls for better support for Nigerian athletes. This revelation has sparked public outrage and put the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) and the Sports Ministry under renewed pressure to address the welfare of national team players. Well, how do you see this current issue?
In fact, I have so many things I would like to say, but should I say that they should be patient? After all, we have been patient in this country. So maybe they should be. It's not easy for the current government to just give you $100,000.
Okay,
They should be patient.
right.
It was a promise made when they returned after the trophy. But then I think it is possible that the president had forgotten anyway. But anything can happen. But I think they should be patient.
Okay.
The government is working on it.
All right. Well, in my opinion, I think there have been a lot of posts online with the president saying the money is actually being disbursed. It's in the hand of the NFF. The NFF is saying it's in the hand of these. The NFF is in the hand of these. So,
That money must not be missing.
because this has been a huge source of motivation. Because shortly after the WAFCON's victory, the basketball ladies also, picked up that momentum and they did what they did. And be that as it may, I still feel the awards were okay for the motivating factor. But then again, more emphasis should also be given to grassroots football, or grassroots sports. Looking at the performance of the younger Eagles, you discover that a lot of questions can be asked about grassroots sports development. And if such monies could, in the next budget, basically, be channeled towards developing our sports. It will actually, boost the quality that is coming in from Africa. Because if you look at most of these people winning here, both in the WAFCON and in the AfroBasket, are internationally trained athletes. And now, when we bring in our local people thinking they have the raw talent, they don't really have it because the grassroots sport development is not okay. Well, as you said, they should be patient. We still have the year is not yet ended. This is not only the president we're talking about here. We still have other people donating. Governors 10 million for each of the athletes and all that. The estate, how about the estate? Because they also give them, a flat in the Renewed Hope estate. So if the money is not forthcoming, at least let the estate and the governors do something. Well,
But I think where they are getting it wrong is that when when Nigerian government make promise, don't expect quick response as if they are conducting election.
okay.
It's only when they are conducting election they will say, "Come and line up. We'll give you 5,000." As you're lining up, you're being given that 5,000 or 10,000, as the case may be. But when it comes to uh, sometimes they make that promise out of excitement. When they get back home, I was like, "Oh, what did I even say? What's the impact of these guys, my re-election and the rest of them?" So, but I think such promises should be taken with utmost seriousness. I understand some bureaucracies that could apply in the release and the disbursement of some of these kind of funds. It has to go through different stages because since the
Okay.
federal government pledged, it will go through the Ministry of Sports, and so many other persons will be involved in it, trying to the assistants, advisors to the president, assistants relating to that ministry. But I am very sure that such a promise and will not just go that way.
Exactly.
It is good that they are speaking up because if they don't speak up, you can just lie down there till 1 year time. But now they are speaking up. It's possible that such funds would be as action will be taken to release the fund. Well, now we're also lending our voice so that the government will immediately release such funds. And for those of us who are not benefiting from the government as such, let some other persons who serve nationally have some benefit too.
Right. All right, thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of today's episode of Trends, a major look at our major stories. We told you about the awards and job offers accorded to Comfort Emmanson, raising eyebrows and debates on motives. The WTO Director-General Okonjo-Iweala commends Tinubu's economic reforms. Peter Obi blasts Tinubu over frequent foreign trips amidst crisis. And in sports, Super Falcons captain confirms unpaid WAFCON promises. Thank you very much for keeping a date with us. And thank you again, President of LJE, for being part of today's program.
Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. My pleasure being here.
All right. Do join us again next week, Monday. Don't forget, you can report a violation if you face one on our website at www.ljenigeria.org. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and stay safe.
Hi guys! So I came across a studio here in Abuja where you can just walk in and shoot any video of your choice. Podcast sessions, talk shows, and even live programs. They have beautiful colored lights. You can choose the one you want. They have teleprompter in case you want to read from a script. You can bring in your guests or someone you would love to talk to. You can do football gist, celebrity gossip, cooking show, music countdown, political gist, real estate palaver. Just that dream show you would love to do. Guess what? When I came in, they even made smile touch-ups on my face. Within 1 hour of my shoots, my video was ready. They have different bonanza packages starting from as low as 10,000 and above. You can get your video instantly or in less than 24 hours. Please check their contacts and address on the screen.